Yeah, here is raining
Oh,
from
enjoying rain too.
since 3 days.
Huh? Along with
No,
winter,
this is
enjoying rain too.
it's a chilled one.
Great, great.
So good
Good
morning,
morning,
ma'am. Good
everyone.
morning to all.
Sir, with your due permission, shall we start the session, sir?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. A very welcome to all distinguished guests and speakers. I would like to welcome Dr. Premchand, Assistant Professor, National Law University, Delhi. Dr. B. Yuva Kumar Reddy, Principal of SS Maniyar Law College, Jalgaon, Maharashtra. Dr. Amit Kumar Parmar, sir, Principal of Anand Law College, and Dr. Rekha Kumari Sinman, in charge Dean, Faculty of Law, Sardar Patel University, and in charge Principal of Anand College of Legal Studies, and Dr. Bhavesh H. Bharar, sir, Head of the Department of Human Rights and Duties, School of Law, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad, respected staff, teachers, and all my dear participants. I welcome all of you on the 7 days online national workshop on legal research methodology, concepts, tools, and applications in today's era, which is organized by Anand Law College and Anand College of Legal Studies with SS Manya Law College, Jalgaon, in collaborations with University School of Law, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. After the successful completion of 5 days of these workshops, today we all are here for our 6 day session. Now, I would like to request Dr. Vijeta S. Ma'am, Assistant Professor at SS Manya Law College, Jalgaon, to welcome and introduce our today's esteemed guest speaker.
Thank you, Jani ma'am. Thank you very much. Respected dignitary resource person of today's program, Professor Dr. Premchand sir, respected coordinator and conveners of this program, Dr. Reddy sir, Dr. Bharad sir, Dr. Parmar sir, Dr. Rekha madam, and all the participants, uh, faculty of all the colleges, I welcome, and it's my profound pleasure to introduce one of my very own close friend as a resource person. So it's pleasure to have with us today Professor Dr. Premchand sir. He is having his own expertise on the subject of plagiarism and rest other topics. So that's why we never leave him whenever we start to talk something about the research. Prem sir, we need your session, we need your time on plagiarism, and he consents. हाँ भैया आप बोलेंगे तो हमें आना ही पड़ेगा. So that kind of personality we have today with us, friends. Dr. Premchand sir is working as an assistant professor at National Law School, Delhi. Sir is executive director, Center for the Law and Urban Development, Delhi University. He has completed his LLB and LLM from the Kurukshetra University with the flying colors of marks. He has completed his PhD in cyber laws, and sir also qualified the NET National Eligibility Test and joined Delhi National Law School, Delhi. Sir is also the member of Center for the Tax Laws. He served as a faculty of law at Delhi University for 4.5 years before joining NLU Delhi. Sir is having number of publication in his account. He has participated and also delivered so many talks as an expert, keynote speaker, and resource person in different international, national seminar, conferences, and refresher orientation courses. Friends, he has also participated and organized so many national moot court competition. As a judge, also he has served as a judge in the national moot court competition.
I think
I think Vijeta ma'am has some network issue. I request all of you to please wait.
Neeta ma'am, you're not.
Ma'am, Vijeta ma'am has some network issue, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Premchand, Assistant Professor at National Law University, Delhi, to start the session, sir.
Thank you, Professor Aruna. Thank you, Professor Rekha Kumar Singh, uh, Dean, Faculty of Law at Delhi University and Anand Law College Principal, and Professor Amit Kumar Parmarji, Professor Reddy, SS Maniyar Law College, Jalgaon, Dr. Bhaves, Department of Human Rights and Duties, School of Law, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad, and my dear friends, students, faculty members, uh, very good morning, a warm good morning in this chilled cold.
Sorry, sorry. I regret inconvenience due to power cut. My network gone, and my introductory part was remained incomplete. But I welcome. I have we all heartily welcome you, Dr. Prince. Sir, please take over the mic and sorry for your inconvenience, sir.
Yeah.
Please.
Ma'am, I'll try to fill the gap. Let's see. Right, so friends, with all these welcome addresses, let me start with our concept, with the topic. Today, as we are living in this digital era, and not only the life or the day-to-day affairs of human chain or human behavior, it has been touched upon with this digital era, digital age, and right now since 2 years, more than 2 years is going to be. We are online basis. Degrees students they don't know the teacher, they don't know the faculties, they don't know where the scholars is, how college or university looks like, but they secured the degree. And particularly when I see the young generation who are coming in research after LLB, BLLB, or LLM, when they join PhD, or they are thinking to pursue PhD or going to complete their research work, because LLM this semester is you have to submit the dissertation with the guidance of your esteemed teachers. But there are certain things which we necessarily to look into before moving ahead in regard to your research, in regard to your paper presentation, in regard to your uh, uh, writing, research article writing, and not only this. When these days I'm evaluating the exams or papers of my own students, I've seen that there are number of copies I found, here some changes, some alterations they have made, but more or less the content is same. And we have received some emails from the student as well. I'm the part of the examination committee at NLU Delhi. So we have received many emails from the students that such a way to conduct open book exams is not working at all. It's not assessing the students' caliber. It's not assessing the learning of the students. It's not going to be good for the academics as a whole. And throughout the universities, throughout the world, everyone is experimenting what can be the better option or the best option. But without looking in that detail, we will discuss today's concept, the uh, ethics in research, and the plagiarism, the issue of copy pasting items in your research articles or dissertations or the term papers or in the presentations, how to avoid. And this is not good even. And we are aware about as a part of the legal fraternity or legal academia, or you are going to be the part of of the academics in the coming days, what we can understand that when we talks about the ethics, when it talks about the ethics in research, we must be aware that without acknowledging, without referring the work of the other person, if you are adopting, if you are accepting, if you are taking away the work of the other person, that is known as plagiarism. And ethics are the moral values which we learn from the society and so on. So before going in detail, I'm going to share with you the slides. Right. This is right, friends. I believe you are able to see my slide.
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
it is very much visible.
That's thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So in such a way, when we point out the research ethics, and particularly in legal, when I say ethics everywhere, not only in research but in life as well, it's very important and pertinent to know that how to work, how to behave in a particular situation, particular circumstance. So this way, there are certain contents and objectives I have pointed out. What we are going to discuss in this whole discussion about the legal ethics, research ethics in research, and what to do before going ahead in a research, what kinds of the work can be termed as plagiarized, what is the definition, what about the cases where the plagiarism can be detected or is finding, what are the reasons, what are the tools, where some are the tools are free of cost available, some are available on cost, at a cost which is bearable. And the most important point which we are going to turn, this is regulation 2018 of UGC, section 52, more or less the fair use, fair dealing with the copyrighted work, which is of an exception. There are long, list of exceptions available under Section 52. But even now, plagiarism is not the part of Section 52. That is exception. Some instances of plagiarism, how to avoid, and so on. So in such a way, when we think about thou shalt not steal, but paraphrasing is okay. You can take, you can consider some of the lines, some of the ideas or concepts. But 2 points is already we should take into care. One is when you are taking some instance, some para, or some concepts from the other work, research work, you have to acknowledge it. Be genuine, accept it that you have taken that idea, you have taken that point from so and so on. But at the same point, you can paraphrase it. You can rewrite it in your own terms, own language. And for the purpose, research as an not uh, which is a concept which is not unknown to anyone, but everyone is aware when we conduct a research. This is a finding for a new knowledge, search for a new knowledge in a particular stream, in a particular area. So when we are conducting a research, our goal is to add into the human knowledge by discovering, inventing, creating. All these terms are very relevant because when we consider the topic for any research article or dissertation or PhD thesis, then what comes in our mind is what is the rationale of the study and how it is going to contribute into the social life or the legal arena, or how it is going to having an impact on the society at large, whether it is beneficial or not. If it is beneficial, how to implement, see, the practical possibilities also needs to be checked out while attempting or while taking or considering or choosing the particular theme or theme for the article, theme for the research or the dissertation, or what are the loopholes which needs to be taken care. So, in such a way, research is important for adding new knowledge, for creating new invention or new concepts, or searching the answers, the problems which are existing one, right? So, in such a way, when we conduct a research, we are going to contribute the knowledge or extend the knowledge in a particular area. So when we have made our mind that we are going for a research, or we have considered the topic, we have chosen the topic, then how to conduct that research? This is the most important question which comes in every mind, every researcher's uh, uh, life. So how do we do this? By building on works of others. It means in the previous sessions, one of my friend, my colleague, told you that there is a one which is known as a review of literature. It means that when we read something, then we come to know that what are the loopholes, where is the gray area, where we need to have some more work, where the knowledge or information in scattered format, then we can come with a one format, one thesis, one dissertation, one research article, which compile whole scattered information and come to a conclusion which is easily acceptable and readable and understandable. Now, in those way, what we need to do before starting a research. Already, the sessions have been taken by the other scholars and professors on this point, but we'll just a brief about the before conducting a research. I had told you that review of literature is one of the part, and review of literature, everything you have been prepared, you have done, you are with your topic or the concept where you have to go, but without reading the guidelines, you have started the work, and at the end of the day, when you are going to submit the thesis or the research article or publication, you came to know, oh, the footnote style was different. It was not the blue book, but the scholar you have to follow, or the silk you have to follow, or there is a other parameter. Say for you have to write abstract keywords, introduction, research methodology, and so on. Every single journal or every single the author, they have their own style, or the demands of the publishers as well. It depends, and particularly when we talk about the presentations or research paper or thesis, then the UGC guidelines, and if there is no guidelines available in university, and this never happens because a university is having its own guidelines in regard to dissertation and thesis submission. So primarily, I will ask you to read thoroughly all those guidelines issued by the university for the purpose of submission of your research. Second, guidelines for research and result reporting. Attend research methodology workshop, English remedial courses, because see, we Indians are having a different kind of issues, and if anywhere at any point of time we found that English is not good, and particularly when I talk about the law, it's more or less is the game of the English language, because all the laws, all the international treaties, regulations, decisions are in English. So we will take care of that part as well. So library orientation, how to find a book, how to access the database, how to explore and extract the required content from a store of lakhs of the you know contents. So that's why library orientation program, workshop, and so on you have to consider before starting your research. Fourth, how to read, understand, analysis, take notes from an article. We can't take as a whole, the article as a whole in our research, but only few points, few lines, few paragraphs we can are helpful for that purpose. Get account to check plagiarism, use of reference management tools, research forums, online discussion groups, etc. And now all these points, if you complete it, then come on the point how to do research. So before starting the research, what we need to understand is there are certain points. This parameter, I have adopted this word for my own research, not in dissertation, but in PhD, because in PhD I got more time to understand the research and the further in research articles as well. So when you prepare research or reading some articles, reading some books, reading some reports, then some research notes are very important for them. You can have a diary, simple diary of your notebook where you can prepare all these research notes. Or if you're not in writing, paper pen writing, then you can prepare notes on your tablets or your computer as well, or your mobile phones. So balance between ideas you have taken from the other sources and your own original ideas, it will help you out when prepare research notes. Take notes of referred sources, marking page numbers, record bibliographic information or web address for every source. So whenever it is required, that from where you have taken, it will be easy to catch, easy to access that resource, and you can correct your footnotes and add more footnotes accordingly. So note taking, first note source, bibliographic information, paraphrase or summarize as you go. If you have taken one paragraph, then summarize it, paraphrase it. You can use the track change as well. Now you have taken full paragraph. You can marks the notes in track change format. Or if you're using Google Doc, there is other option, add note. You can think about it. And when you paraphrase it, when you have taken all the notes from there, then you can borrow all these notes from track change or the add note from Google Doc and paste into your own research. Now, you can think about with the colorful remarks you can use. See, here the word P, as P stands for, and S stands for paraphrase and summarize. If you are not taking, you have say, I've taken the whole paragraph and I put a P in colorful, say for red remarks. It means it needs to be paraphrased. It has not yet been paraphrased by me. I'm going to paraphrase. Therefore, it needs to be summarized. So these words, it will be helpful to have a quick access and quick recalling. Then what you need to do with this item or with this paragraph or with this information. To mark beginning and end the passage copied directly from the text. Completely, you have to work as a whole. So use different color for copied ideas. So you can paraphrase, you can summarize, you can give a reference, proper reference. Then whether you paraphrase or copy direct quotation, always keep a citation piece information with the text, so that if you decide to rearrange your notes, you have a record of what come from where. And this is very technical point which everyone should be aware about. At the end of the day, when you are going to finalize your thesis or the dissertation, you will be, will not be easy to access that from where it has been taken. If you're not, properly marked or properly managed your citations or the sources from you have taken. So remember to write down not just the useful information you discover, but where you have found it as well. You must mention that. So it is very difficult to backtrack later. So it is always preferable that you should take the information in a different document. You can have 2 3 copies of the document. Not only of this, but whenever you are working on, I suggest you to save at least of 2 copies. One is in your computer, other you can add on your hard drive or the Google Drive. Google Drive is the safest mode. Hard drive may be lost, but the Google Drive, it is attached with your mail, so you can access at any point of time, anywhere in the world. Right. So in writing a paper, these are certain tips which everyone should be aware about. You read your needs. Now you have prepared enough. We have prepared the bibliographic format. We have summarized what are the requirements for writing a paper. So primarily, what we do, we'll read the notes carefully and make sure that you understand the material before you begin to write. Write a preliminary draft. कुछ मत देखो, कुछ ज्यादा मत सोचो. जो हमने पढ़ा, जो मैंने समझा, जो मैंने इतना सारे रिसर्च करने के बाद जो मेरे दिमाग में आया, उसको barely आप स्टार्ट हो जाए टाइप करना, लिखना शुरू. So the primarily whatever we are going to write, it will be our own words, the researcher's own words, own lines, own reasoning on kind of the thought process, right? So it will not come into the, that item which can be plagiarized. So without looking at your notes, leave spaces where I think you want to include the quotes or supporting material. Third one, use your own words much as possible. And no one expect you to write like an expert or a professional writer. So write whatever you want. Write whatever is coming in your mind. It doesn't mean that you are writing with some small words, some small, not having big names, big words like the scholars are using. It is irrelevant by the time it will come into the process or it will come into the part of your research. Cite all sources you write or your draft. Read through your final draft and make sure that all uncited ideas are your own. This is the final one. Now, concept of research ethics. We have started. We have started concepting the notes. We have taking the notes. We have started to writing the ideas. We have started the ideas of our own to pen it down. But with this note, what we should to be aware about, what are the ethics, the moral values, what are the norms for a research ethics or for a research to conduct a research. So commonly, ethics are the norms for conduct that distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior of a person in the society. And particularly when we talk about the ethics and research, it is that it should be your own idea, it should be your own word, it should be your own, findings and conclusions and everything. Wherever you have taken some of the points from others, you must acknowledge it. You be very genuine about your research. So in such a way, when we think about the ethics in real life, it comes from our home, our school, church, our religious places, our social places, right? So all these ethical values and ethics in real life and about the research, it comes from the library orientation session, it comes from the classroom teaching, it comes from the classroom discussion, it comes when you are working in a group as a researcher or writing some uh, research paper or book or some of other articles. So we are learning through that. It's not codified. Research ethics are not codified as such, but we are learning all these from the society, from the behavior, from the while working with our colleagues or our friends. So in such a way, the most of the societies have legal rules and laws. Statutory provisions are more harsh and hard, which can be implemented. But the ethical values and ethics is not as such as which is implementable, but it can be at some point of time, like we have 2018 regulation of UGC to ethics, to make ethics legal research or research ethics into the higher educational institutions. So these are the informal than the laws. It's not having, but ethics, these kinds of ethics can also be implemented, making rules and laws practical. So uh, ethics are methods, procedure, or perspective for deciding how to act and for analyze complex problems and issues for the purpose of research. So, research ethics provides us guidelines for the responsible conduct of our research. So, in this way, this research ethics educates and monitors researchers conducting research to ensure a high ethical standard in this the whole academic process, whole research process. So when we think about the ethical principles in research, and all are very common one, very general one. Be honest in relation to the data, in relation to the reports, results, and procedures. And at the same point of time, our objectivity also come from the when we avoid the biasness of on experiments or experimental design while uh, analyzing data or data interpretation, peer review, personal decision, and so on. Integrity is about the keep your promises and agreements with the sincerity. You make it very clear that strive for consistency for thought and action. Carefulness. It's very important for to avoid careless errors. Sometimes we hardly bother, or if bother, then we think, okay, I'll look into at the final stage. But at that point of time, the circumstances may have differ or may differ. You may not take care of it, or you may not be in a position to take care of those carefulness errors at that point of time where you can rectify it very moment. So be careful, be critical, and examine your own work. Is there any lack of errors or negligence has happened, or openness? You, because see, these days world is working on openness, world is working on open access to the resources, open or knowledge access to all. So when we think about, you should share your data, results, ideas, tools, resources. So be ready, be open for criticism as third, sixth, respect for intellectual property, and this is the part which we are going to particularly dealt with or going to deal with. The plagiarized or plagiarism, or uh, marking the references or acknowledging the sources and so on. So we have to be very clear, very genuine about accepting that you have taken those references, those ideas, those concepts, those information or knowledge from the other sources. So you have to honor the copyrighted items, copyrighted material, honor the patents as well, whatever. So Try to not use the unpublished work, unpublished data. It may create another problem. This is a copyrighted work, but not as such. Research, the uh, which can be, or you can do one more point. You can take the permission from the original author of that research item, which is not yet published. So next is confidentiality. Confidentiality in regard to the research, that is in relation to if you have some confidential information regarding, say, for if you are getting, if you have secured a project from DRDO, right, or any other ministry or any other department where you found that these information must be very confidential one and only shared with the concerned authorities. So you must be aware about that confidentiality of your project, of your research, of your findings shall be maintained very between, or secret, between you and the institute. So responsible publication, eighth one, it's published in order to advance research and scholarship, not to just advance your own career. But it is the fact to advance our own career as well as advance to the research or the society as well. Both the ways we have to be responsible for our own career as well as and the institutions and the society as well. So, responsible mentoring, and this is for we people. We means the teachers, the guides, supervisors. So, uh, many of the time we find that our teachers or the supervisors don't have time to mentor us, or not even have to have time to read the research what has been whatever has been or have been submitted by the scholars or the researchers. So in such a way, it's the teacher, the supervisor, the professor as under high duty to educate, to mentor and advise the students, particularly in regard to the research, how to conduct proper and good research, and how to take decisions and try to avoid the plagiarized items. So next is respect for colleagues. Uh, this is about not only the students but also the faculty members as well. And social responsibility, research shall be non-discrimination against the colleagues, against the students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, and so on. Because many of the time when we said, okay, this professor is uh, dealing with the criminal laws, or this professor is dealing with only the laws relating to women, right? Or kind of biased or unbiased kind of points we can have in our mind. So try to avoid all those discriminations in your biased thoughts and so on. So competence is in regard to the professionals, in regard to the learning, in regard to the writing, in regard to the publics. So everywhere we have to show our competence. It's not. It matters from or person to person, student to student. So don't be hesitate to accept the problems and issues which you are facing and try to overcome all those. Legality, legality in research or ethical issue. Uh, whether what kind of laws, say for Copyright Act, we can take into consideration. Whether Copyright Act is giving us permission to adopt or to use that item or content, or to publish, to print the number of copies, soft copies, and circulate among the student, and not only circulate but also try to sell it out. So we have to take care of that part as well. because law is a subject where we are dealing with the human behavior or human directly. So whenever we are going to conduct a research, try to avoid some kind of confrontation that where human behavior or human beings feel unsafe in regard to your business. So now, when we come across all these, we have prepared the notes, we have prepared, we have started reading, and then we thought about the research ethics, in particularly while writing the papers and so on. So now we come on what is plagiarism. Plagiarism is a misconduct, as a research misconduct particularly. And when we thought about the research misconduct, falsification or plagiarism, FFP. So, in such a way, when we think about the plagiarized one or research misconduct, then falsification, fabrication, falsification, then plagiarism, these terms come into the picture, and we are most aware about and most listen whatever the word we have listen is plagiarism. So fabrication is making up data or results. It's particularly in relation to the science, the social science areas where you go for the research with data analysis and so on. Falsification as well, manipulating research material, equipment, process, changing or omitting data or results such as research is not accurately represented in the research report. And third one is plagiarism, and this is the appropriation of another person's idea, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. Now, when we move in relation to the fabrication and falsification, how the fabrication come into the picture, how you come to the know that there is a fabrication of the data, where in social sciences, researcher interviewed 500 subjects, but it was never interviewed. In his on his own, he sat in a library or somewhere, and on the basis of the other interview, he has created his own imagination and written that these interviews has been or have been conducted. In biological sciences, the creation of data set for an experiment and that never has been conducted. And in practice, adding fictitious data to the real data. There are 500 subjects we have chosen, and out of 500, 300 we have done, and 200 we created on our own. So, in such a way, we fictitious data create and mix with the original data. In clinical research, the insertion of clinical note into the research record to indicate compliance with the element of the protocol, and this has not been followed. So, how the falsification comes into the picture? Misrepresentation of uncertainty. It's if you take the examples of falsification, falsely represented the sources or the material which have not been used. And I have seen, and we'll come into the point where the students and the scholars they give the footnote which is not relevant and which is not the part of the source as such from where you have taken that information. So the footnote is different from the content you have used, and footnote in such a way which never ever been available and on your own. Falsely you have mentioned into that deed that footnote or the writing. Alteration of data, render modification of the variances in the data, falsification of dates and experiments procedure in the study note, or misrepresentation the result from the statistical analysis. There are a number of. falsifications, examples, we can go accordingly. So in all these, I'll share with you all these slides, and you can think about what kind of the data or analysis can be considered as falsification and other research misconduct. So when we think about in such a way and come on to plagiarism, what plagiarism is, how it is going to hamper our research, and how it is going to hamper our life as well. And not only the life, but if we at some instances are there where it has taken the life of the researcher or life of the writer. Now, when generally we take the definitions from the other sources, but directly have taken this definition from 2018 regulation of UGC, and that's 2.1. Plagiarism means a practice of taking someone else's work or idea and passing them as one's own. So 2L of the Rule 2L of the 2018 regulation. So, when practice of taking someone else's work or ideas, passing them as one's own without referring, without acknowledging his or her work, particularly. So, if you see the dictionary meaning, literally it is kidnapping. What we are doing, we are kidnapping the work of other, writers or the scholars, and we have kidnapped it, and we said this is my own. It has been prepared by my own research and own analysis. So, in such a way, we are stealing the data, we are stealing the information and passing it off, and we are, boasting that it's my own. And to use another's production without crediting the source, to commit literary theft, to present as a new original an idea or product derived from existing source. Now, please let me know, am I audible? My screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, plagiarism as a dictionary meaning, as the it has been defined by the UGC Regulation 2018. So it means the pass it off the work. The what is someone else's work as my own, and it can be seen from the resources that the students, the faculty members, they adopt these ideas or the steal those information and use their own on research in term paper, research article, dissertations or thesis. And many of the time, not only we people, academia or legal research, but others as well. Some people has copied photographs. Some music instruments or the rhythm or the song's line, it has been stolen by. Right now it's easy to access and easy to compare, and it is easy to understand from where it has been taken. So as it is inspired by, primarily before coming in this picture, it has been said that I am inspired by such and such song, I am inspired by such and such lecture, I am inspired by such and such book. But right now you are not inspired by, but you have plagiarized. So we use generally in the plagiarism or the plagiarized item while submitting paper, dissertation, thesis, graded to be reviewed, that you have not written your own. Copy answer, text from the other classmates, submit it as your own. And this is happening. These days, during COVID pandemic, online examination, it's happening, massive. Quote or paraphrase from other paper without crediting the original author. Cite data without crediting the original source. Propose another author's idea as if it were your own. Fabricating references or using incorrect references. When you click on the reference, you never ever get the name of the book. You had never ever reached to that research or to that website. There will be a hashtag for your food. Now, submitting someone else's representation or presentation program, spreadsheet or other file with only minor alteration. Minor alteration is if you are Mr. X, then I put my name, Mr. Prem, and enough. टॉपिक भी चेंज नहीं करना, गाइड भी चेंज नहीं करना, नाम चेंज करना है. It will be enough for the purpose of submission. Buying or selling. Market offer है. You can try. There are many persons who are dealing with, and there are many videos, and particularly which has been prepared where Delhi University, not only on Delhi University, but also JNU outside JNU, there is a market, but other universities and states as well. Everywhere, I believe this is a common problem where outside the universities and colleges, there's many persons who are working or who are writing thesis and dissertation for or write papers, assignments for other students, and they are earning money, right? Buying and selling of tech or the your research. So these are the types of unoriginality. One is inadvertent plagiarism, student collusion, paraphrase plagiarism, word for word plagiarism, computer code, self plagiarism. Has uses also issued a paper or the notification. Self plagiarism also be considered by going for the higher education or going for the evaluation of thesis or dissertation or in promotion as well. Source-based plagiarism, policy plagiarism, manual text modification, data plagiarism, software-based text modification. There are software as well, which turn the words, which you can use them to convert or to use the synonym words as well, or you can speak and it will convert into the proper language as such. So there are softwares can be used for that purpose. Contract cheating, the last one is selling and buying of the items. Now, these 10 most common types of plagiarism which we found. And I want to show you the slide, other website. I'm taking you on the Turnitin website, particularly directly from here. And these are the kinds which we are taking into consideration 10 most common type of plagiarism. And it is here, if you see, clone word by word, from one word to other word, there is no change. It has been adopted and used as such word to word from one source to another. Now, the next one is Control plus C, copy paste. Some of minor changes, but significant portion of the text from single source without alters. This is Control plus C, plagiarism. Third one is find and replace words. So few words it has been changed accordingly. Here you see the 19th century. Here is the 19th century 19th. So find changing keywords and phrases, but retaining the essential content of the source as. Find, replace. Simple phenomenon. Remix. Paraphrases from multiple sources make to fit together. एक लाइन वहां से, एक लाइन यहाँ से, एक लाइन यहाँ से, एक लाइन यहाँ से उठा करके कॉपी पेस्ट कर दिया और एक रिदम बना दिया, ठीक है, चल गया. This is remix. Plagiarized type. Recycle. It is borrows generously from writers' previous work without cites. Right. So for the hybrid kind of format or hybrid kind of plagiarism combines perfectly cited sources with copied passages without cites. You can see that some of the paragraphs it has been taken from the sources and you have mixed it, or the scholars have mixed it for that purpose to avoid. ओके एक पैराग्राफ यहाँ से उठाया तो इसमें बीच में कुछ लाइंस ऐड कर देते हैं तो it will not be detected by the software. Now, measure. Mixed copied material from multiple sources. One, two, three, four. One line from other source, one line from different source, another line from different sources, and try to make a rhythm of all these. But the softwares are more, intelligent than the human beings, I believe, because these softwares and as well as the companies who are dealing with this kind of softwares, they have learned from the human tendency and behavior how humans are behaving, how humans are cheating or using the resources, or the paraphrasing are not done. So measure mixed copies material from multiple sources. This is 404 error. Like it says, include citation to known existence or inaccurate information about the sources, and this is very important. When we give a footnote and we have mentioned that this site has been accessed on such and such date and whatever site, and this is not available on the website, on the www oh, World Wide Web. So aggregator, it says, includes proper citation to sources, but the paper contains almost no original work. Includes prop, and this is this kind of my friends, my students, and here all, you must be aware about the this kind of process is adopted by or used by the smart students, those who are good in English, those who are good in system, or how to access, how to work on computer. So include proper citation, the source, everything is okay. It looks like good, but you finally found it does not contain any original work as such. It is a smart work, not an original work. So you can identify. Retweet includes proper citations, but relies too closely on the text originally wording or the structure. You see the source text or the student word. This is a natural setting, and it has been changed by history of exploration and settlement in Yosemite Valley. So in such a way, you can see all these are the kinds of sources, the uh, kinds of plagiarism where we can think about in our research. So clone, control C, find replace, remix, recycle, hybrid, mashup, 404 error, aggregator, and retweet. Now, self-plagiarism. As I told you, the UGC has issued a notice, a notification. Self-plagiarism is not accepted. It may be, inadvertent, and sometimes we talk to ourselves. Okay, नहीं मेरा ही काम है, इसमें मेरी citation क्या जरूरत है? प्रेम ने लिखा है, प्रेम ने आगे लिखा है, प्रेम ने इसको यूज किया है. I'm the sole person, which has been done by me, and there is no need to cite it. Therefore, I have written an article, affordable housing in 21st century, right? And I have used the same article, affordable housing, uh, truth or myth, in 21st century. I have changed the topic, I changed the theme, slight changes, truths or myths in 21st century. Both articles same, both the article written by me, and in such a way, this is the such when I use the first article which has been published in different in one of the research journal or the book, it has been plagiarized by me. This is known as self-plagiarism. So try to avoid it. If you have used some of the sources, some of the information of your own, item or on your write up, then you must be genuine and write it, and you will acknowledge it that you have taken that from your own article published in so and so journal. So, in such a way, this self-plagiarism can be avoided by mentioning, by referring, by giving or footnote a proper reference to the research work, which is even done by you only. So, April 2020, the UGC has issued a notification, public notice particularly, in relation to the self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is it has been given in certain format 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, if you see publishing the same paper already published elsewhere without due and full citation. Second, publishing smaller excerpt work from the longer and previous without due and full citation in order to show a large number of publications. Reusing data already used by published work. Breaking up the larger study into smaller section. हमारी PhD है उसमें से हमने 2 आर्टिकल निकाल लिए वो self-reference. Paraphrasing one's own previous published work without due and full citation of the original. And C, self-citation do not add any numbers or individual citation index or H index in global academia. Now, the consequences. Self-plagiarism and consequences. Number 4. Vice Chancellor, selection committees, screening committees, IQAC, all, any expert involved in academic performance evaluation, assessment are hereby strongly advised that their decisions in the case of promotion, selection, credit allotment, award of research degree must be based on an evaluation of the applicant's published work to ensure that the work being submitted for promotion selection is not safe. Right? So, dear all, please be careful. There are the parameters, they are the deterrent effect, of self-plagiarism as well. And not only of the plagiarized items or plagiarism, I'm coming on that. Accidental, unintentional plagiarism, you are not aware about. Researchers are not aware about. But it has been safer. I have read a book in 2006 and 2022 right now. After 15, 16 years, I forgot that item. But at some point of time, I recall that this can be happened. When I realized this is not something which I have read years back. But I thought this is my own idea. Yes, this is a good idea, and I have written on this. And later on, I found this is accidental, unintentional. You forgot to cite. So you must be aware about that those unintentional, accidental plagiarism or plagiarized cases must be taken into consideration and look into from where all these resources you have referred. Borrowed plagiarism. This is permission copy to their work doesn't make it okay, but submit it to your own. Borrowed one. Mosaic plagiarism, incorporating some of your own original wording into a piece that was largely written by someone else would represent mosaic plagiarism. Aggregated, which we have taken. Outline plagiarism, if you follow the order and structure of someone else's work very closely, this would represent the outline plagiarism. Content. क्या है कि मैं आपको एक बहुत सिंपल बताता हूँ. इन्फ्लेमेट या अगर शोध दूंगा पर सबकी डिसर्टेशन और थीसिस पर, ठीक है. अब उसमें मैंने क्या किया है कि मैंने कंटेंट उठाए ऐसा, और जो उसके एक्सप्रेशन है और एक्सप्लेनेशन है, आई हैव चेंज्ड इट. So the content and structure, outline of the whole thesis or the dissertation is the same as such which is already submitted by someone else, and Expressions and explanations are different from. So this is known as outline plagiarism. Be aware, देखो आपको वहां से कुछ तो लेना ही पड़ेगा ना, ऐसा तो नहीं है. लेकिन if you are taking from somewhere else, you just change, paraphrase it, put into your own words, and put into your own words as you are thinking, as your expressions are going on, as your thinking process and research process is going on. You can, paraphrase, you can change accordingly. Direct places. Taking credit for someone else's work as if you wrote it yourself, an example of that. Hired one. This is sale and purchase of the research. You know, sorry, this is something 7, 8. Collaboration plagiarism. Group of persons. चार बंदे हैं एक ग्रुप में, एक ने काम किया और तीन ने मस्ती. And the credits goes to all. Or one of the person who has written, head of the department has put his name only, and the paper has been written by some student, or paper has been written by some other faculty member, senior faculty member. Collaboration basis. Contributing author plagiarism. Planning to include someone else as an author who actively contributed to creation of the work would also be an example of plagiarism. Right, without giving the proper, recognition to that person who has done this. Secondary source places. Bibliography plagiarism. हमने जो आइटम यूज ही नहीं किए बिब्लियोग्राफी में 1000 बुक्स का नाम डाल दिया, और ओरिजिनल हमारे किताब में या फिर डिसर्टेशन में, थीसिस में only 5 books mentioned, 6 books or 10 books mentioned. So where from 1000 bibliographic items come from? Secondary source plagiarism. Any information included in the work of writing that is based on someone discussed its source you consulted when doing research should be properly cited. So this is about the plagiarism, how this works, and what are the major cases of plagiarism. Student dissertation, term paper, assignment, project writing, project reports, and thesis or dissertation. In academics, books, articles, papers. These are the most common cases of plagiarism. Now, what are the reasons particularly for the plagiarism in India? Carelessness is one, this one. Cut and paste culture, सबसे पहले हम यही सीखते हैं. Disorganization, poor time management. बाद में देखेंगे, जब 1 महीना रहेगा डिसर्टेशन तब लिखेंगे, 6 महीना रहेगा तब हम थीसिस लिखेंगे, या फिर यूनिवर्सिटी से जब तक नोटिस नहीं आता है, there is no time, extended, then okay, you have to submit it right now. English and the international language, lack of references. In one professor, I forgot the name, he has written 75 articles. He became the vice chancellor in 4 years. And later on, when it came to know that it has been plagiarized, he was removed from his office. And no scholar was, given to him for the research. No further, in appointments or panels, his name was referring. So, lack of strict academic discipline, submit करना कर देते जी क्या. Lack of referencing skills, हमें footnote सिखाया ही नहीं जाता. Literally, अब जो 5 years students है, 3 years students है, they are well aware about it. But primarily, even the how to referring the footnotes, or how to acknowledge the resources. It is not, training is not given by the academics to the students. And 7th one, lack of understanding seriousness of places. In my university, 1 week complete program to the library, the first year students, or 10 days one are each or two are each by the databases and the faculty members who's are taking care of footnotes and so on. There is a tutorial as well. How to learn, how to use, how to access the library. And the database is represented from the market, from the business entities. They came on campus and give this orientation program to all the students, the members as well. Every year, every single, says poor study habits, steady press of the ball. There are a number of submissions, number of papers, number of readings, and so students and the faculty members, please be aware. Some of the methods which are used by not only the students but also the academics as well, right? So, students' creativity, smartness. You obviously the student who is very humble or very is not good in English, is not good in concepts. Then you can easily identify such a concept or such a assignment shall not be written by his from his own sources or his or her own learners. Second, digital text modification, letter substitution, Cyrillic letters A, C, E, O are the same as in English A, C, E, O. So students generally what they did, they use the Cyrillic letters, the Russian language, the A, C, E, O in Cyrillic letters. They used and they copy pasted or replaces particularly these words from that Cyrillic letters. You can copy paste and say for English, E capital, change E small, A small. You can change uh, the A and E with the Cyrillic letters A and E accordingly. So this will not be detected by the software. And I'll show you how we can detect it, how the kind of document whether it consists some items which is not detectable as such. And there is one parameter as well which you can think about. Making up references non-existing or unrelated one. Non-existing or unrelated. Insert white text. This is very common. Insert white text. Therefore, without giving this one here, it's a space, right? Instead of space, what I did, I put it here dash and use the font white text. White text. There is no gap between making up and this has been whitened, so it will show that making up is one word, but as such, making up are the two words, and this the in between the reference or the white text has been inserted, which is no detectable. And try to avoid to accept from the students as well as the faculty members. Try to avoid to accept the PDF format from the students of their assignments or the research or the thesis. Primarily, try to tell them come with your own. If you are not sending, you come with your own system to you and let me show what you have done in your research assignment or dissertation or thesis or chapters. Format modification. I'll show you the picture. When you use the image and to avoid the software text modification. So where you can say for this is L and this is 1. This is Roman 1, capital, and this is L small into English. So you can replace it with these two, right? Computer knew this, but when you get it printed, it will be similar one, right? So you will not able to get it how it has been used and what has been done. Say for this is in case of modifications, say for this is one, right, air only, and this is I, air, I. This I and this is one is the same, right? So it will not detect, it will not be detected by the software which is we generally use. And this, let me show you the graph, how the images. Friends, if you are able to see my screen, I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is an article of my friend. When I select it, this is an image, right? And the same page you will find into the next one. See these two images, right? A map and this final electrical circuit. This is a map. If I click here individually, then it will be selected and an image, original image is being selected. If I see on the this page, this is a full image. What I have done for your reference only to understand how to cheat or how to avoid the software. If what I have done, I have converted it, right, this one in JPG format. And if I show you here, this is the original article. Yeah, this is the original article. One piece, this is another piece, and this is what I have done. This is the I have convert it into an image. It's easy. Anyone can do that, but I'm not going to tell you the process how to convert the PDF into an images. You can learn your own. And now you can see I can select the individual lines here, and but it's not feasible. It's not possible here because this is an image, and which I have been what I can do. I can accept it in PDF format, and then now I'll submit it on Turnitin. And what we will get, this will not be read by uh, uh, the Turnitin software or any software which you are using for that purpose, right? So now, in case of text modification, format modification, image, or so on, what we can do, you can be with me, please. Here, one more point. This is Turnitin home page. I'm going to log in. I want to tell you a few points about the Turnitin. So you will be aware about all these classes are all classes, expired classes, and active classes are here. This is my account. So this is Premchand. So if I want to submit here, uh, these are 76 items I have submitted. So all these, this is one green, see, if this is zero, blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, यहाँ तक 20 तक 24 तक green line, 25, 26, 30, 100, 95 भी है, right? So of some student, I have Dhananjay Tripathi, I should not disclose any, but student who has submitted a paper and I checked it first. Let me check it to the result of Turnitin or the plagiarized item. I found it is 95%. Outrightly I denied him. So I'm going to accept this paper. So all these you can see the blue, orange, yellow, and red color here, and this is one of the chapter. If I look into, this is validation cloud computing. So I'm opening another document. I see this this new document is opening, turn it in, and I'll show you the results, how it shows, and how you can ask the librarian or the staff to avoid the precism or to avoid the some of the points which is necessarily to be taken care. Here, at right side, exclude quotes. Yes, this is statutory mandate. I'll come into this is regulatory mandate. Quotes can be excluded. Bibliography can be excluded. Consecutively 14 words can be excluded, right? So in such a way, you can see these settings. Further, this flag for review. Is there any kind of word which are which I told you, Cyrillic letters or other points, or the images or whitening or bracket, inverted commas, the whole paragraph in inverted commas if you find, right? Here is the sources you can exclude. You can change the site settings and so on. Here you can think about submission information when it has been submitted. Student ID, Dr. Premchand, class ID, submission ID, 26th October 2021. Privatization, public corporation, and so on. All these words, pages, and everything has been mentioned here. Now, if you see with me in relation to Turnitin, right? So this is here, and uh, this is edit assignment settings here. You can, those my friends who are able to access their Turnitin or Urkul, you can go on optional settings. In optional setting, there is one important one is exclude small sources, set source exclusion 14 word count. Consequently, 14 words you avoid. Generally, you should avoid, but 14 words you can exclude and submit to repository. Many of the friends, many of the students, they are not aware about how to do, what to do, or what not to do. If it has been submitted, they are afraid of my paper is going to submit it to the repository and I'm going to submit it to someone else. So for the journal, they will check that same and it will show 100%. So standard repository, no repository. So when you are going to check for your own, so choose no repository. Your paper is not going to submit into the Turnitin repository, and it will not show wherever in the world. If you want to submit it in any other account, it will not show that it has been checked somewhere else. So search options, student paper repository, institution paper repository, current archived internet, periodical journals, and publications. All these are important to understand for the purpose of alternative. Right? So I can move ahead here. If you see that words which can be used by the Cyrillic letters, student can show the creativity, format can be modified and so on. So there are some free plagiarism checkers in the market. You can access free of cost. Dupli checker, copy checker, paper rater, plagiarism checker, plagium, plag scan, or plag tracker, Orkun. Orkun, some of the universities are having access free of cost. Influent UGC has given this access to all the universities free of cost, and this these are the paid one. Even individual can also access all these. Turnitin, Scribble, the most used authenticate Turnitin, but it's not good for the law students and as a law subject because our reports, decisions, rules, regulations, notifications, everything is online right now, right? All facts and circumstances of cases as well. So we have to be very objectively, we have to check it out whether paper is, you know, containing statutory language, facts of the case, which kind of, if you show the similarity index is higher than the standard one which has been determined by the UGC 2018 regulation, then the supervisor should see whether these similarities are from the say for facts of the case, say for the reports of some of the committees, say for the statutory language, regulations language, right? Uh, or the sections or the articles of the constitution, from where the similarity is coming. So you have to go and check individually of these, writings of the students. Scribus, Qtext, Completio Stadium, BibMe, Authenticate. There are three software which particularly is being used in India: Turnitin, Authenticate, and Urban. Right, this one. Uh, so these three softwares are, generally being used in Indian academics. Unicheck. So you can think about the free of cost, plagiarism checkers, and on payment basis you can think of. Now I'll show you the Turnitin, my account, where the different kinds of different set of colors were there: 0, 1 to 24, 25, 49, 50 to 74, 75 to 100. Right? Blue, green, yellow, purple, orange, or red. Right. So all these kinds of colors show the similarity index into the terrain. Now, the interesting point here is UGC has taken this plagiarism on a serious note, and in 2018, this higher authority in the higher education has issued regulations, and this is known as UGC Promotion of Academics Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism in Higher Educational Institutions Regulation 2018. So, in higher educational regulations, to maintain integrity and prevention of plagiarism, it comes, or whosoever is coming under the higher educational institutions will be considered and will be governed by section by 2018. So rule 2O, script, which includes the research paper, thesis, dissertation, chapters in book, full-fledged book, or any other similar work submitted for assessment opinion leading to the award of master and research level degrees or publication in print or electronic media by student, faculty, researchers, staff. Staff includes non-teaching staff working in higher education institutions, regular, temporary, contractual, officers. So the faculty members also include. So here it is student or faculty, and the staff includes the non-teaching staff. So Q, rule 2, Q, rule 2R, student means duly admitted and pursuing a program of studying, including research program, any mode of studying, full-time, part-time, whatever. Right? So you will be governed by. So 2018 regulations also imposing some duties on higher educational institutions. This is particularly higher educational universities, colleges, they try to avoid they are responsible to maintain the decorum and maintain a high integrity of research and academics in their education institutions. So to enhance about the responsible conduct of research, academic activities, promote academic integrity, and prevent plagiarism. Now, awareness program and training, higher educational institutions, time and again doing the same for the faculty members and students. So, they are bound and responsible to conduct the research programs, publication ethics, how to avoid the plagiarism, how to avoid the self-plagiarism, what are kinds of technologies available, how to access it, sorry, how to access it, how to use it. So in those cases, they also encourage the faculty and students for their own in original research and register themselves and go for the research trainings and so on for this purpose. So higher educational institutions also having a duty to curb the plagiarism and uh, by and every means and methods and mode higher educational institutions shall curb the plagiarism in their institutions. And it says, if you see with me, that it says declare implement the technology based mechanism using appropriate software. Like many of the universities are having Kurkun, many of the universities are having Authenticate, my university is having Turnitin, right? So for the purpose of to to analyze whether it is plagiarized, whether the document or the submission is plagiarized, right? So this document, this kind of software is accessible to one and all. Sometimes not feasible, but and every university and college there is a kind of setup where one person is particularly you know uh, it has been nominated that he will take care of all those research guidelines or plagiarism issues or submit on Turnitin or Authenticate or Oracle and so on. It is mandatory for all the students to submit their documents while submitting for assessment or periodical assessment or award of degree to under the within the software to check it plagiarized or so. So these detection tools and so on also be taken care by the institution. And as we came to know that all the dissertations of copy of master research program dissertation thesis will need to submit into the source agenda. So at the huge repository of the research you can see whether some of the topic has already been taken, whether if you click on such and such topic, there will be number of dissertations and chapters will come into the picture. So it's a huge repository from where you can check it out whether dissertation has been copied or taken from that source or from the other person's work. Right. So in case rule 7, which is interesting one and important to know that well, taking into consideration similarities are going to check. There is a difference from plagiarism and similarities. Right? Similarity may be of facts of the case. Similarity may be of the rules and regulations or the statutory provisions. Right? Similarity may be of the footnote, citation. Citation if you are following Oscola or following Blue Book or SIL or ILI. No, throughout the country, many of the people have done the same. So it may be the same. So while similarity is different from plagiarism particularly we have to look into the content or the ideas, the conclusions, the arguments which has been taken by the researcher, not into the footnote, right? So what it says, this can be excluded all quoted work reproduced with all necessary permissions and other attribution, all references, bibliography, table of content, preface, acknowledgements. So students, if you are going to check here similarity index, so you have to avoid and you have to check only the main structure, not the references, bibliography, table content, preface, acknowledgement, certificate, list of cases, and so on. Only the main content or the main structure you need to check out. All generic laws, standard symbols, standard quotations as such. Right. Now, importantly, up to 14 words, consecutive words, it can be excluded. You also try to avoid to take 14 consecutive words. Faculty members, staff shall based on the original ideas shall include abstract, summary, hypothesis, observation, result, conclusion, recommendation only, and having no similarity. Right. So all these level of plagiarism. It will be 0 to 10, rule 8, 1 level 1, level 2, and level 3. So there are 4 levels as such in relation to the places. So there is minor similarities up to 10%. So there is no penalty. If it is more than 10 to 40, then there are changes needs to be made. If it is 40 to 60 and more than 60 to 100, then we look into that there are the provision. This is DIAP, Academic Committee, and so on, IQAC, and so on. These are the institutional mandates where we can think about institutional academic integrity panel. These are the institutional, mechanism which will be looking into that higher educational institutions shall, create a structure in their departments, in their institutions. So this is DIAP and IAP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel, and so on. Now, when we think about the consequences of plagiarism, plagiarism is not only an ethical issue, it's more than the ethical issue, and it's more than the ethical as well as it's in relation to it's a rule breaking or the law breaking concept, right? And it is highly unacceptable in academics. Sometimes it has taken the life of the researchers or the persons who has done that research. Sometimes it has taken the whole learnings and whole whatever the good you know the reputation earned by the person into academics or into that particular area. So now in such case there are certain penalties. Penalties not only for the faculty members, but also the staff, students, and teaching, non-teaching, every person shall be considered for this purpose. So there are penalties, and this is research misconduct as such, which we came to know. Now, this is Rule 12.1. In case where there is four, structures, four formats where similarities can be found, and Rule 12.1 directly deals with the submission of thesis and dissertations, right? So 1 to 10 need not to worry. 10 to 40, student can be asked to revise a submitted revised script with a stipulated period no more than 6 months, right? 10 to 40. And I request to my fellow friends, when we are talking about the law and 10 to 40, just you look into the submissions, look into the original work, whether these similarities came from the statutory provisions or the facts of cases or cites, right? Because for the purpose of law, it's something very technical, which we need to look into. Level 2, similarity 40 to 60, students shall be debarred from the submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. Above 60, so my dear friends and students, try to avoid. First, you check your own before submission the final one. You can ask the library staff, you can take the help of the person who is designated to check the similarity index. Ask him not to submit into the repository until unless you finally made it for submission. Right. Before the final submission, you ask or request to the designated person, please do not submit into the university repository or Turnitin repository or software repository. Right. So if it is more than 60%, then registration shall be cancelled. There is no excuse. Repetition in case of 10, more than 10 to 40 and 40 to 60. Then the level of committee by him in case we are placing higher level committee, then punishment for the same shall be applied. So if it's one level higher than the previous level committee, say for not exceeding 6 months, it may not be the entity. Penalty in case where the degree credit has already been obtained. Plagiarism is provided on a date later than date on the award of degree credit has been case may be, then our degree credit shall put in abeyance for a period recommended by IF or approved by the head of the institution. Now come to the faculty members and academic staff researchers. Good. So 0 to 1, 0 to 10, there is no penalty. Level 1, similarity 10 to 40, withdraw the manuscript. Level 2, similarity is 40 to 60, withdraw the manuscript, deny right to one annual increment, not be allowed to supervisor any master students, to student PhD scholars for a period of 2 years. If it is more than 60%, then withdraw the manuscript, deny right to two successive annual increment, not allowed to be supervisor any master and PhD students for 3 years. Right? So more than 6 years. If it has been repeating by the faculty members or the research staff, then penalty will be again revisited and it will be more harsh than the previous. Now, laws and regulations, I am not going to solve. My friends are from the law academy and there are number of more than 43 exceptions are there under section 62 of Copyright Act. So I'm going ahead. So there are certain leading cases, Campbell versus Akuf Rose music. There are four factors. Particularly, I'm focusing on some of the main points because time is, yeah, we have 10 20 units. For the purpose of character of educational purpose, critique, etc., the nature of the copyrighted work, whether work is eligible for copyright protection in the first place, substantiality of the portion used in relation to copyrighted work. Third, fourth one, effect on the potential market of this already published work or the value of the copyrighted work, whether the new work would adversely affect the market value of the original. And it has been happening in many cases. Academy of General Education, Manipal versus Maniyar. What is the purpose of private use? And includes research, criticism, review, or whether a work of any other work such dealing does not constitute an infringement of copyright. So, for the purpose of private use, fair dealing, section 52. So, suggested readings for the purpose of the students and photocopying portions of various, say for one chapter from Mullah, one chapter from Basu, one chapter from Agrawal, one chapter from Pandey, or Bakshi. So it has been compiled. In jurisprudence, many of the articles have been compiled in one document, and we have done this, and we all throughout the world are using. So, for the purpose of suggested reading, and photocopy has been provided, this will not be considered as violation of copyright. Uh, Friends, moving ahead, these are certain instances related to education for teachers have been penalized for plagiarism, HRD ministry. Uh, and this is the latest one, Ramesh Pokhriyal who was the education minister, who was not right now. So further, India you can plagiarize and flourish. Reports are coming that India is a country where you can do that without any uh, consequences. Thinking about Shivraj Chauhan, who read a poem by White, but the poem actually was written by someone else. Right. So this was how Gopal Mehta got his book Wide and Good Lives. Got it life. So this has been completely Megan McCaffrey book, Sloppy First and Second LPs. This was a book which has been completely copied. Some of the uh, characters have been changed. Everything was the same one. So the Viswanathan claimed that the similarities were unintentional. Her book Contract and movie deal with cancer. So Opal Mehta got kissed, got wild, got life. So Management Development Institute suspended Professor on plagiarism. And uh, how to avoid? Be honest, always. Integrate the sources used in your research. Choose only relevant part of the source. Summarize, paraphrase, quote, not forget to acknowledge, uh, the refer, give the footnote. Be genuine in your research. So there are certain kinds of standard citations. So Australia, Canada, Germany, they do have their own citation standards like Australian Guide to Legal Citation, Canadian Legal Citation. Uh, uh, in the same way, Oxford Standard of Citation Legal Authorities, Modern Authority Citation United Kingdom, USA Blue Book, KLW, Pen Book, Maroon Book, and India, Oscula, Blue Book. Generally I'm talking about the legal academics. So these are the four standard formats which are being used, or which is being used by the Indian scholar, Oscula, Blue Book, Indian Law Institute, and Standard Indian Legal Citation System. So my concluding remarks are very clear as from our discussion. Check whether the quoted works or use is copyrighted material or not. Whether before using extensive personal copyright work, obtain specific permission from the copyright holder. If it is not possible, try to avoid it. Avoid stealing the central idea of your paper from the course of another. Avoid copy pasting beyond 10%. Avoid using 15 consecutive words in your research work. Cite, refer, mention source, attribution, keep credit wherever it is necessary. Self-plagiarism is illegal. Legal. Self-plagiarism is legal, but up to some extent, and you have to cite the old work. Technology is not meant to serve the tool as a tool to make life of the students harder, but educators identify the issues and practice them. So my acknowledgements to all the research works, articles I have mentioned here, all the sources, links I try to acknowledge in my presentation, and these are the references I have been used to uh, this purpose, this research, this presentation before you. And now coming on your point, if any question, please let me know so I can interact with you. फ्रेंड्स आई बिलीव मैंने आपको बोर नहीं किया होगा. थैंक यू मैम.
In fact, we have apart from students, the faculties are so much beneficial, sir. It's so much
थैंक यू.
Winter, it's pleasure to meet you again and again. We were not bored. It was very insightful session. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर विजेता. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir.
Friends, if you have any question, please. Okay. So in the message box, there is no question as such. I found. Dr. Sandeep Pandya, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for such an informative session, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. Rita Kumari Singh, ma'am, in charge Dean Faculty of Law, Sardar Patel University, and in charge Principal of Anand College of Legal Studies, for vote of thanks.
It is respected Dr. Premchand sir, faculty members, and my dear students. It is really indeed an honor for me to propose vote of thanks. And actually, I said the word is incredible. is the word for the session, because sir has not just given inclusion of two three aspect, but I think each and every aspect has been covered, and it is very difficult because I think sir has done lot of research, and every time wherever sir is coming with a session, I feel there are a lot of new things, new incorporation of lot of like new learning. And I think, sir, the way you have taken on various topics like legal research ethics, plagiarism, fabrication, then self plagiarism, and how to avoid while writing, and the most important, like what are the mistakes what the students are doing once they are doing the research. You have also put lot of examples, especially the articles you have shown to the student, and you have shown through the softwares. I think that is very very important, that how to understand the color codes and similarity index, how to identify. And apart from that, you have shown the 13 software, and what are the software which is free and paid version. Apart from that, sir, you have very much included that a UGC promotion for academic integrity and present prevention of plagiarism and its regulation 2018. And you have also included like how to avoid such type of plagiarism, how to curb, and the most important, the levels of plagiarism, and how we are detecting through the departments, and the consequences very important, because nowadays people are feeling that it's really an offense. And I remember one of the case, one of student which I have read, and this is a real case, that he has sent his paper to the foreign journals, and it was 25%, and they have just written a complaint to the organization, to the owner, and trust me, and the condition was very pathetic, and this was a great learning for that candidate. So I feel that we don't feel and seeing, but I think sir has given number of case laws, number of examples which is there in the media, social media, as well as newspapers. So that instances had itself shows that it is very important once we have to follow the standards, and yes, to put forth that is quality research. So thank you so much, sir, for incorporating each and every aspects, inclusion of citation standards as well. So we are really blessed to have you, and looking forward for such more session in future endeavors. So thank you so much on
Thank you.
behalf of all the organizations, Law College, College of Legal Studies, SS Maniyar College, and in collaboration with Department of Human Rights, School of Law, Gujarat University. So thank you so much, and gratitude, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we also extend
So
a special thanks
even
to Dr. Rekha Singh ma'am for delivering vote of thanks to everyone and every day. Thank you. Thank you, friends, sir. It was wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you
I
for
will be
coming,
happy if
everyone.
some questions came from the participant side, because this I believe I have not given the whole picture of whatever the area is. It's very lengthy one.
So there is no scope at all to have questions. So, so
Thank you, man. Thank you, one and all. Please feel free to mail me whenever you face any problem. I will be available. Uh, Not guaranteed. Say, at the very moment I will reply you, but I definitely reply you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. All the participants are requested not to leave the session till our guest is in session.
May I leave, man?
yes, sir, absolutely, sir, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
once
you
again.
so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, one and all. All the best.
Session is over. All the participants can leave.
Thank you, Aruna ma'am and Rekha ma'am. Thank you.
All the participants are requested to fill this feedback link as it is necessary to for get in touch with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kindly do this thing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the session.